All right. So apparently Amber Heard's lawyer, Elaine Bredehoft, went on to the Today Show and also CBS Morning Show. And I don't know what other show she went on, but apparently she went on there and she speaks out about the verdict. And we're probably going to want to vomit and just stab our eyeballs out and our earballs out and everything out. But yeah, let's go.
But they declined to be interviewed this morning. Elaine, thank you. We're so very glad you're here.
Thank you.
We heard
Elaine, your microphone. Ma'am, your microphone.
Amber's reaction to the verdict yesterday. This seems to be a huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, amazing.
She looks good in yellow. By the way, y'all are making fun of people in yellow. She looks good in yellow, okay? I wish I could pull off yellow. I can't.
Setback for women.
God, okay, stop. Okay, stop. Let me listen. Okay. God. I was just hoping the yellow color would just distract me from any dumb shit that comes out of Elaine's mouth, man.
Huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, a major setback for women.
She said, yeah, major setback for women. She almost agreed. Elaine, she trying to stick to her lines, man. She got some lines that the PR team gave her. She's trying to stick to it.
For women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because
basically what...
Oh, you see that? She said, because, and Elaine's like, you know, when someone's like, oh, I don't have a good reason, let me just pull one out of my really quick. You like look up, to the left, to the right, and then you put in a filler word, like basically.
Huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, a major setback for women. For women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because
basically what this said, you know, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as a...
Yep, she's got her talking points. The PR gave her the talking points, and she's just trying to ham it all out right now.
An enormous amount of evidence, although...
Enormous amount of evidence. Well, even though there was evidence that was, let's say they were suppressed, the evidence that you guys fucking gave were fucking horrible. We had a bunch of pictures of Johnny Depp fucking sleeping. Hello? The audio tapes, none of it was favorable towards Amber Heard whatsoever. What evidence? There should have at least been a good amount of evidence that still came on through, even though there was other evidence that was suppressed. Where are the evidence?
Though a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK.
Were they hearsay docs?
But look at all the women who have no evidence. All these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out yourself...
But here's the thing, though. Okay, let's go with that. If you don't have evidence, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not a victim of domestic abuse. Okay, that could be true. However, there was a fuck ton of evidence that showed that Amber was the abuser. How about that? How are we just gonna ignore that? How are we gonna fucking ignore that? That's what we didn't ignore. That's why we believe Johnny Depp. It wasn't because, oh, Amber Heard lacked evidence. It wasn't just that. It was also, there was evidence that was against her. How are we ignoring that? I like how we just pick and choose, just cherry pick the things that are just, you know, favorable to whatever fits into your narrative. We're just not going to include any of the evidence that we heard, especially the audio tapes. The audio was really damning. There was text messages. It was the way she testified. It was her lying. It was just everything that was just against her. It wasn't just like, oh, she didn't have evidence. No, it was everything else. Come on. How are we cherry picking, Elaine? Cherry picking. She wearing cherry picking red today. In lipstick color of the year.
And you tape record your spouse beating you. You're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think
absolutely not. That is such a huge mischaracterization of what the verdict was. Hell no. Like I said, there was a lot of evidence against Amber Heard. Even Amber Heard's own testimony was against herself. All the things that she said, all the exaggerations, all the things that she wouldn't own up to, that was all against her. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I literally didn't have videotapes of me getting my ass beat. Okay, well, why the f does she have video evidence of other random shit? It's because she had nothing. The best that she can do is get videos of Johnny Depp beating some cabinets. The best that she can do is get pictures of Johnny Depp just passed out. She didn't even have evidence. She didn't have medical records or anything. Like, we're taking like a small little thing that we're focusing on and then like just expanding it. No, there's other things too that went into the reason why the jury believed what they did and why we believe what we did. I don't know. This is such a bullshit interview. Like, obviously PR team was like, Elaine, say this. Elaine's like the, you know, like the ding, 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 ding. You got like the little circus monkey, you know, with a little tambourine. Ding, 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 ding. Like she's just over there clapping her tambourines right now. We're just laughing at her. Oh my God. Elaine, there was a time where I felt sorry for you and that was yesterday. And now I don't know, man. I don't know if I feel sorry for you anymore. Elaine.
and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think it was bigger than that because you had the evidence, as you say, but they did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp.
Oh, you see that? Oh my God. Whenever someone's like lying, they do that. Yo, you see that long pause? She was like looking to the side. She was like, where's the body behavior analyst? Get the body behavior analyst on Elaine. I want to analyze Elaine. Let's analyze Elaine. You see that long pause?
Not believe her.
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
And it's not only not
but she's
believing
But she was Mirror in Aquaman, the highest grossing movie ever.
yeah, but she's a celebrity.
Shit, I don't think Elaine didn't expect this. She's like, oh fuck, they're ganging it up on me. Look at her eyes. She didn't expect this. She did not expect this whatsoever. Amber Heard had the fucking cards in her hand. 1, she was a woman. 2, she's a celebrity. 3, she's white. 4, she had the MeToo movement going on that made a lot of people think that like, hey, you know, maybe she's credible and maybe that we should believe her. People believed her for like 6 years. Hello? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't shut the fuck up. There's just so many things to just interject on. And the fact that she was like, oh, it's Johnny Depp. It's Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp what? He what? He spoke out because this fucking woman made up shit about him, leaked a bunch of random ass things out of context, edited videos, edited photos, got people to lie for, hello? Johnny Depp what? He was defending himself. Oh my, I don't know. I hate bullshit. I hate people who lie. I hate bullshit. My blood pressure's going up, man. Let me get some candy real quick. If Johnny had such an influence, why did people believe Amber? Why? Why did people believe Amber? You know, people believed Amber in 2016. And then 2018 when the op-ed came out. And then after the UK ruling, you know, there's still a lot of people that weren't privy to the UK trial that still believed Amber. Why the do they believe her? If Johnny Depp had so much influence, why didn't they just believe Johnny Depp the entire time? I mean, I know that there were definitely some diehard Johnny Depp fans that trashed her when she first came out, but okay, let's exclude those people. There were still, I think the general public were like, oh, damn, we thought Johnny Depp was cool. I guess not, you know? Damn, he's a woman beater now. I know attorneys, they have to have their personal opinions separate from their professional opinions, but damn, man, being an attorney would be really hard. I don't know how you could separate the two. It'd be really hard. And I don't know if Elaine truly believes this. Someone asked this earlier, do you think Elaine believes this? I don't know. Like I said, if there was so much UK evidence that was suppressed in the US trial, then leak it. Leak it. Who cares? At this point, just leak it. You've been leaking everything else. Why aren't you leaking this?
But she's a celebrity too.
And it's not only not
she's but she's a celebrity too.
Right.
But you have to remember, it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp.
All the evidence came in the UK. Bitch, please. First of all, the donations. The fact that she didn't donate all of the divorce settlement to the ACLU, to the Children's Hospital, that didn't come in. That didn't come in at all during the UK trial. I think they tried to bring it in during the appeal, but then that got denied. The judge said that Amber Heard could not have been a person that would have benefited from being a domestic violence survivor because she had nothing to gain from it. She donated her divorce proceedings because Amber Heard lied during the UK trial. She said she donated the fucking money. And then later on, when Johnny Depp's team got a hold of the ACLU paperwork and shit, and I think they found out that she actually didn't donate shit, that was after the UK trial was fucking over. And I don't know much about the appeal part, but I know they didn't get the appeal. But no, not all the evidence came in. What the fuck are you talking about? We didn't have more witnesses, more people testifying. We didn't have Kate Moss wasn't in it. We didn't have the TMZ dude. I don't know whoever else, but there's a lot of fucking people that testified for Johnny Depp in the U.S. trial. And there were people that turned against Amber Heard, even her own friends too. Isn't it like a telling that none of her fucking friends showed up? The only person that showed up is Whitney. Oh man, I just don't know how you're brazen enough to just continue on with the lies. What I'm listening to right now is just poor excuses. Just poor fucking excuses. Elaine, thought you were better than this.
Depp brought that one. The burden of proof, the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp brought that one. The burden of proof was on the Sun in the UK because they had called him a wife beater and talked about the domestic violence. He had his opportunity to tell the truth.
No, he did not have the opportunity to tell the truth, okay? That was a private trial. Not many people really followed it. I mean, probably some diehard Johnny Depp fans, but not a lot of people even knew about the fucking UK trial. You know what's going on during the UK trial? It was 2020. It was the pandemic. It was COVID. It was a lockdown. And then it was the George Floyd protests. And then I think a month after that, that was when the UK trial was going on. Who the f cares about celebrity news when all the other shit was going on? No one was paying attention to it. There was like a news reporter that was tweeting about it, but I don't think people really paid attention to it. We had so much other shit going on in our lives. We weren't going to pay attention to a defamation trial in the UK and, you know, Johnny Depp. So, no.
Then, and a 3-week trial, he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. And that came out November 2, 2020. We weren't allowed to tell the jury that.
Well, it's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially true, and that is significant, and I think surprised a lot of legal analysts. But, you know, in this case...
He said it surprised a lot of legal analysts.
The jury not only didn't believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
Yeah, and then also, again, like, before the verdict came out, even during the beginning of the trial, a lot of people didn't think Johnny Depp was going to win. A lot of legal people were like, hey, defamation is really hard to prove. It's hard to prove malice, especially in the United States. He's probably going to lose. And a lot of people shared that sentiment that Johnny Depp was probably going to lose. But, dude, there was so much overwhelming evidence. How are we going to ignore any of that? How are we just going to keep defaulting back to the UK trial? Who the cares what happened in the UK? This is a whole different court system. We're in the US right now. New witnesses, new evidence, completely different. Why the fuck do we care about the UK trial? Oh, man.
And it's pretty amazing since the op-ed never even mentioned Mr. Depp. You have to remember that. What they learned from the UK case is to demonize Amber, which...
I don't think the ACLU testified in the UK trial. I don't think they did. 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 The lawyer, the ACLU lawyer came in and destroyed Amber's case, okay? Destroyed Amber's case. The lawyers came in, revealed some emails that happened internally between some of their lawyers, some of their peoples, Amber Heard's lawyers. We found out that she even wrote the op-ed, but the article was about Johnny Depp and how, you know, if they took out the details about Johnny Depp, then the article wouldn't have as much flair. So they decided to add more details back in, but then omit his name. That guy, when he testified, literally said the article was about Johnny Depp. And then Amber Heard and her teams try to change their mind and say, well, now that it's been outed that she even wrote the article, well, why should she even get in trouble? She didn't even write it. See, she didn't even write it. So it's like they keep changing and shifting their narrative. They keep changing their narrative to see what fits the best, you know, depending on what evidence comes out. And that to me just seems like liar. Liar, liar, liar. That's what liars do. You present them new evidence, they're like, oh, well, actually, you know what, you're right. I actually, you know, I actually didn't do this. Oh, okay. But you still did this, right? No, I didn't. Like, it's just like bullshit. And like we've dealt with so many bullshit in our lives before and liars. And that's why when we saw Amber Heard and the testimonies and stuff, a lot of people just had a visceral reaction because we're like, oh, I've dealt with people like this before. You know what? I hate liars. I hate manipulators. Elaine and Amber admitted she wrote the op-ed about him while you're digging yourself in a hole. I don't know what's going on. They're acting as if no one watched the trial. A lot of people watch this trial, so I don't know why Elaine's coming up here acting like no one fucking watched it.
Which is what they did, and to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. But the other problem is we had cameras in the courtroom. So here we had, not only did we have a group of Depp fans that were there every day, 100 were allowed in. They lined up at 1 o'clock in the morning for their wristbands to be in that courtroom. But we had everything on camera, and we had tremendous social media.
That's the great thing about the U.S., okay? Public trials. Hell yeah. That private.
That was very, very, very much against Amber. Very
It was pointed out that that was the first time that a victim of sexual abuse had to testify on live television.
And I fought hard and lost that battle.
So,
it should not have happened.
So I am a former NFL player, and after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror.
This guy, who is this man? Who is this man? Who is this guy?
Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and...
Yo, this guy got daddy vibes, man. He's got the daddy vibes. Holy shit. I love this. I love this. He's got the daddy vibes. You know, it's really easy to blame other people. Have you looked in the mirror before and see what you did? Your mistakes? Dude, this is like daddy vibes right here. This is like great parenting vibes. Love it. Oh, Elaine's like, we didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? Nate Burleson. Solid dude. All right.
your team?
Well, and that's an excellent question. And to say, and you know, Amber even said on the stand, I am not perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to...
Oh, she is pivoting. Oh, my God. Pivot. Look at her dodging the questions. Elaine's like, I got to stick to the talking points. If I want to get paid for this gig, I got to stick to the talking points. Oh, my God. All right, I mean, we forget. She's been a lawyer for 30 years, so of course she's going to be good at this.
Perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby. This is the kind of social media she's
He ain't buying it.
So
he ain't buying. He's like, bitch, please. Listen. I heard that when there were some Amber Heard fans out there with the signs supporting her and like that, and there was an overwhelmingly amount of Johnny Depp fans, there were news reporters who reported that they didn't see any like exchange between the two of them. Like it wasn't like Johnny Depp fans, you know, they saw an Amber Heard fan and start harassing and haranguing them and cussing them out and stuff. The news reporter said that didn't happen. So I don't know if I believe this whole like microwave the baby thing, because again, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp used to make jokes about microwaving their small teacup Yorkie or something, like, oh, that dog is so small you can microwave it. So I don't know if I'm gonna believe that. You know, I feel like this is like Amber Heard's like sense of humor, and she probably thought of it, and then she thought that by saying that to the jury, it was gonna be shocking, because I think Amber Heard tendency, you know, she had a tendency of trying to shock people. And, you know, when people are shocked about hearing news, they get distracted with something so horrendous that they don't really have time to think about, oh, wait, you know, what this person is saying is maybe lying. But I don't know. I think we're smarter than that, aren't we? I think we're smarter than that. I think we are.
Are any of us perfect? No. Is there something else we feel we should have done? Yes, I absolutely. I redo my closings 100 times afterwards, whether I win or lose. That's part of being a good lawyer. Good trial lawyer is, right. There's always something. But I think that there were a lot of influences here that were beyond our control. And I think the social media, it was like a Roman Colosseum. It is the best way.
It's not our fault that y'all gave us so much fucking trash content to work with, all right? It's not our fault that Amber Heard gave us so much trash content to work with, all right? She was the fucking content creator. she was the one that was churning in and out with her fucking horrible acting, horrible crying. You know, yesterday we didn't get to it, but we were watching Isaac Baruch's testimony with.
And what happened for so many people to get affected from this? It's insane.
And Mr. Baruch,
how this happened.
And Mr. Baruch, if in fact she's telling the truth, and if in fact Mr. Depp.
You see that? You see what he did differently than Amber Heard? He wiped his fucking tears. It's not our fucking fault that Amber Heard gave us so much trash content and it got turned onto social fucking media, all right? You want to blame it on someone? I don't blame it on her. She was a liar. She lied. She looked fucking scary. She was staring down Johnny. Her testimony, her cries, the way that she was very emphatic about the relationship, and it was everything about her was just really fucking often really weird. But even if you take away the likability, there was just no other evidence to support her, you know? Because I know some people are like, oh, well, you know, people are just against Amber Heard because she's unlikable. No, dipshit. There are other reasons why. There are so many evidence against her, and then there's audio tapes. There's just so many other things, you know? There are a lot of people out there that are really unlikable, but at the same time are very likable because people like people that are honest and truthful, right? Yeah, and he had tears to wipe. Like this is the difference between someone who's crying for real and then go look at Amber Heard crying. Just go look at her crying. She makes a lot of really weird, contrived facial expressions, like as if she doesn't know how to be human, as if she doesn't know how. It's like she's like a robot, you know? She's like. She doesn't know how to be human. She doesn't know how to cry. She doesn't know how to like emotions and stuff. And it's all just fake. And like, that's why like the facial expressions that she makes were just so fucking weird because we're just like, what the fuck is she doing? What is she doing? Who's she talking to? And like every time when she would talk to the jury, like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that she did, which is like, oh, go back.
Way to describe a lot of influences here that were beyond our control. And I think the social media, it was like a Roman Colosseum. Is the best way to describe the atmosphere here. And I have to believe that the jury, even though they're told not to go and look at anything, they have weekends, they have.
All right. We going there. We blaming everyone. All right.
Families, they have
they were not
media.
Sequestered. They were not sequestered.
And the 10-day period we had, how could they not have been influenced?
But Elaine, for most people watching this trial, and a lot of people, as you know, it got huge views. It just seemed to be so messy and salacious and so tawdry on both sides. And I think for a lot of people from the outside looking in thought both of them were not telling the truth and that they mutually abused each other.
Initially.
Do you not believe that was the case?
No, and that's one.
That's what people thought initially. A lot of people on the surface of it, without doing any research, they're like, you know what? They're both really toxic and they're both abusive to each other. However, once you start watching the trial, the witness testimonies were coming out, the evidence were coming out. People shift from that narrative to, Amber was the abuser. All Johnny did was fall asleep, take some drugs.
One of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of domestic violence. It completely ignored the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
Oh, my God. Elaine, I think you were Amber's lawyers when she leaked the whole TMZ thing, the photo shoot, the video shoot. Oh, TMZ, get a video of me leaving the courthouse. Oh, TMZ, get a video of me leaving the lawyer's office. Oh, TMZ, leak this video of the cabinets. Oh, my goodness. The dirty part on Team Johnny was, Adam Waldman maybe. But I'm glad that Johnny Depp had at least somebody who was going to get down and dirty with Amber's team because they were fighting dirty, fuck it. Why would you expect someone to fight clean if you were the one in the trenches all muddied up and shit? I'm glad that Adam Waldman leaked it.
And you think Amber Heard is, in fact, a survivor?
And it's not like he leaked things that were doctored. He leaked things that were true. He leaked audio and stuff. Amber leaked things that were like, she like edited some parts of things to make herself look really good. No, the audio tapes were a reflection of who Amber Heard was. I don't know, Elaine. I don't know how you sleep at night.
Of domestic violence.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And there's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial. We even had more evidence. We had medical records. We had mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous. We had text messages from Mr. Depp's assistant saying, when I told him that he had kicked you, he cried.
That was it. That was in evidence. That was in evidence, Elaine. We had that. We saw that.
So how is she today, Elaine? How is she today? What is her next move?
She's right. Well, her next move is appeal. There were
she's heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that
nah, man, her ego is bruised. She's like, how dare Johnny Depp speak up against me? That 50-year-old fat man. I used to be the boss of him. I used to tell him what to do. I used to beat the shit out of him. How dare he speak out against me? How dare the jury not believe me? I was staring right at them every time I gave my heartwarming testimony, crying, telling them about the details of my sexual assault and the abuse. How dare they not believe me? Now, I think her ego is bruised.
Said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, I am so sorry to all these women.
She said that?
Yes.
No, she did not! Stop! Stop lying to us! Stop it! She said, I am so sorry for all the abusers that can't get away with being abusive anymore. Stop it. No, oh my gosh, no. I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we've seen of Amber that would even show she's the type of person who would even say something like that. I don't think she gives a shit about other people. No, I think she only cares about herself. Oh my God.
I am so sorry to all these women.
She said that?
Yes, she felt.
He don't believe. Look at everyone. Look at everyone's body language, okay? Everyone's body language. Look at everyone's faces. They're just like, ain't nobody believing her. He's like, she said that?
Felt like she had let down all of these women because she had more evidence than most people do, and yet they still didn't believe her.
Elaine, Charles.
She had more evidence than Rihanna, too.
Elaine Bredehoft, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back.
Excuse us, thank you.
What was I watching? What was that? Well, could I even watch the second interview? I don't know if I can watch the second interview. I don't know if my brain can handle it. Oh my God.